A lot of us go through a period of time where, no matter how hard we try, we are unable to pick up the pencil and draw. And even if we manage to drag ourselves to the nearest canvas for visual application, we are only able to lean over and leak out a drawing or doodle we don't even like. Something has happened between the last time we sat down to draw and now that prevents us from drawing at the skill level we know ourselves to be at. We feel as if we lost our ability to draw or have finally woken up from a dream and we never knew how to draw at all. It is honestly a terrible feeling to have, especially when you're just starting out in drawing or any other art form. But what if I told you it was all in your head? Well, not all of it, but enough of it to give us an upper hand in facing the beast known as burnout and art block. I'll be honest, there was a time where I didn't believe in either of these concepts. The idea that some invisible force was preventing people from drawing, I just didn't understand them and felt they were thrown around too much. And when I came across similar situations, I just concluded that I was being lazy and not working hard enough. It wasn't until college that I began to accept the exhaustion that comes with pursuing art. But only recently did I come to understand the two terms individually and the roles they play in our art journeys. But before I go on, I would just like to say welcome to Edenwick, a creative knowledge center of exploration where I share my long and dangerous art journey, along with some lessons and tips that I learn along the way. If you like art or art-related videos, don't be afraid to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I'm hoping together we can build an art community that promotes growth and creativity for beginner and intermediate artists, so we can help each other transcend and reach greatness. But now, on to the video. Art block. A term used often when an artist feels they are unable to produce a drawing or an art piece of any kind. They sit down to draw and no ideas come to mind. Or maybe an idea comes, but then they try to draw and it goes terribly wrong, almost instantly. Now, this happens for all levels of artists. Even skilled professionals will find themselves blocked from time to time, but they often have a means of alleviating themselves from this burden. This cannot be said for beginner artists though, and sometimes a beginner might find themselves blocked more often than not when they go to draw something. What some people suggest in this situation, including myself, is to push through the block by filling pages with doodles, with no concern of whether or not they turn out good or presentable. Simply take this time to explore the medium and ease yourself into something without thinking about it too hard. Done right, this can be an effective way to overcome an art block, but it may not be the only way. I've concluded that when a beginner artist is faced with an art block, it is most likely in relation to the size of their visual library. We are simply unable to even think of drawing something we have no experience with, leaving us with a limited number of things we would try to draw when we sit down to do so. When you are art blocked, in some cases it may be because you are looking for something new to draw, or to grow beyond what you already do. I find this is usually the case for me whenever I come face to face with a block of my own. In these situations, simply doodling will only get me so far and would not prevent another block from reaching me next time I sit down to draw. So in my opinion, when a block of this sort occurs, it is best to use this time for learning and expanding your visual library. Rather than just doodling and exploring what you know, you can explore new things and expand upon what you know. This is something you can do for an hour or two, or maybe even longer. Doing it for longer could potentially be more beneficial, but the true benefit will come from what you do, not how long you do it. I would usually go for at least a week studying something new each day and then applying it to something at the end to refresh my knowledge. Another way I know people get over art block is by doing something that would normally inspire them, going on hikes, listening to music, visiting a museum, or indulging in other forms of entertainment media, like video games, TV, or film. Art block can come from simply focusing on art for too long and drawing a blank once you've reached your imaginative limit. Oftentimes, a good refresher or time away from the canvas can be good enough to revitalize your idea factory and get you back in the game. But there is a downside to this method as well. If not managed properly, this method could wind up consuming a lot of your time rather than inspiring you. Playing video games every day or binging a ton of TV is not an effective way to spend your time and could prevent you from drawing in the long run. I even find myself distracted by music while I work. If the song is too good, I might end up spending the next 4 minutes and 30 seconds singing to my own reflection. So, it's good to know yourself and prevent yourself from overindulging in things that could potentially prevent you from progression, even if it means keeping mirrors facing from you while you work. But anyway, burnout. Burnout is that feeling you get where you just can't even. You're tired, you're unable to focus, and no matter how long you sit and hold that pencil, your canvas will remain a blinding white. But you will eventually change the color of the background in hopes that a change of scenery will bring rise to enough energy to push through this. And, of course it's possible. Maybe you do end up pushing through. But with each stroke, you begin to discover that you're just not feeling it. And after a while, you see you aren't even drawing as well as you know you can. I honestly can't stand burnout. And every time it happens, I just feel like I'm being lazy. In my mind, I haven't accomplished nearly enough to be burning out. I should be drawing all day, every day, so that I can get better. But the reality of the situation is, art is not the only thing I do in my life, nor is it the only thing that requires large amounts of time and effort. And I'm sure that the same goes for you as well. Whether we call it burnout or something else, without managing our lives properly, it's only a matter of time before we find ourselves breaking down from the pressure. Stress can have the same effect. So if you aren't physically doing a lot, if you're always stressed out about something, you will still find yourself drained. Naturally, the best way to deal with burnout is to avoid it as much as you can, because once it does happen, it can be a lot harder to get over than art block. Here are some things you can try in order to avoid burning out. First off, you can just simply do less. Some of us have a habit of wanting to do everything all the time. We have so many projects that we want to do, or so many things we want to try, and we feel if we aren't doing as much as we possibly can, then we aren't working hard enough, or we won't be able to do everything we want to do. Art is already a hard thing to incorporate into a busy life. Making it more complicated will only serve to overwork you. Try to only work on a few small things at a time or one big thing over a larger period of time. Next, you can regulate your effort output. Putting 100% of your effort towards 100% of your task 100% of the time is just a numerical disaster waiting to happen. Think of your time and effort like currency. You only have so much of it, and not every task needs an equal amount of it. Spending too much will leave you in debt, and burnout is the price to pay with interest. Use or acquire some management skills to determine where your time and effort is most needed, and come up with a plan. If you're not trying to be a pro gamer, do you really need to spend an hour in the aim lab before you play Valorant for an additional 2 to 3 hours? I don't think so. Finally, it's time to relax. Avoiding as much stress as possible is a good way to keep your positive juices flowing. Adopting a mindset that keeps you calm may be difficult at first, but will be helpful in the long run. Many people stress over things that don't warrant any stress. and there are a number of reasons why that isn't healthy. A common mindset is to not worry about the things that are out of your control. This often eliminates most of the things people might worry about. What's done is done, and now all that's left is to think about what you will do moving forward. A mindset I have adopted is to not stress about things that can be changed or that are temporary, allowing me to focus even more on what my moves will be going forward. Everyone is different. It's important that you find what stresses you out and either find a way to deal with it or get rid of it entirely. Limiting time with people that stress you out would also be helpful. Now, let's say it's too late. You were unable to escape from burnout and it's gotten you. From my own experience, there may only be two options. Either muscle your way through it and continue working anyway, or you can let it pass. Accept your current situation and wait until you have the energy. And when I say wait, I don't mean just sitting there doing nothing until you feel like drawing again. That's where a lot of people go wrong. They get burned out and decide to fill their time with things that are unproductive, just to end up wasting more time and not drawing longer than what was necessary. This is usually where another hobby would come in handy, like a sport or another craft. You can even do things that inspire creativity in an attempt to jumpstart your art brain again. Just try not to beat yourself up over it, and don't give up. Burnout may have gotten you this time, but it's usually after burnout that some find themselves at their peak performance. Your art muscles were able to heal and get beefy, especially if you spent the time studying beforehand. At the end of the day, we are only human, and even though we wish we could be a perfect version of ourselves that can work non-stop, we are only capable of doing so much at the level we are at. Save the endless hours for future you when you have the time and stamina to do more. But for now, I hope this video was helpful to at least one of you out there. If not, let us know in the comments what could be done better. And if you know of other ways we can level up our art skills, let us know that as well. Also, while you're down there, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can see what I do next. But until we meet again, I would just like to say, welcome to Edenwick.